All righty, welcome back to another. I don't know how long we're going to go 20 minutes, 30, 40, an hour. We could go longer. I'm not sure. Welcome back. It's Sunday afternoon. Hopefully, had a great. I mean, what a beautiful day. What a beautiful day. And so, we always start off by glorifying the good Lord, thanking Him for everything, certainly for this beautiful day. You would not think it's still winter out here, but it is. And so, I was walking around my peaches. One of my peach trees is blooming, and I think it was my dad said, they're kind of they're great for fruit, but they're kind of dumb trees because they bloom so early, and then the freeze hits, and boom, there go the flowers. So I'm hoping that's not the case. Although we are still in winter, but today was a beautiful day. So I hope you all had a wonderful day. We were gone Saturday. And Friday, of course, I think Thursday was our last podcast. I did say we were going to be here just about every day. Of course, we're small business owners, and so we had to go catch up on some work. In fact, today I was running behind on just a couple of things. We went to church. Actually, I made it to church late, so I had to apologize to my pastor for that and the folks because I rolled in there and made a little noise. But wonderful day, great church day today, great word at our church. Hopefully, you went to church, and if not, I'm going to advocate that you do. It is Sunday, but we are going to talk politics because this is the beginning. Tomorrow is the beginning of week 2 of early voting. So I'm asking, did you go vote? Have you voted yet? And do you plan to vote? Because you cannot not vote. This is when it matters. I tell everybody, look, you can't complain about rhinos, right? Republican in names only, and then do nothing about it now. Now, there's a lot of people who don't understand that this is right here. This is where we settle the disputes. We literally have to throw down against an establishment group of people that because they have money and they have clout and they've put themselves in key positions, like to select your representatives, your senators, both at the state and the congressional level. And that's happening. You can see it across the board. One of the key races we are following here is West Verdell. Up here, he's replacing, he's actually running for the open seat from Andrew Murstache. It's actually Andrew Murr, but I call him Murstache. He's the guy with the 1800, great mustache, by the way. Horrible, horrible representative. Horrible. And actually just a flat out sellout, probably a Democrat. And but he's gone, so he's out of here. Good, he made the right decision. He's one of the folks that actually, he was kind of a co-captain, maybe one of those capos, so to speak. The lieutenants to Dade Phelan, who were out trying to impeach Ken Paxton. And I've said this over and over again. This is the litmus test, okay, for House representatives at the state level. If you have no idea who you're going to vote for, you you need to you need to vote. You need to vote out everybody that tried to impeach Ken Paxton. Now, I've said this before. He was the only guy across the entire United States taking it to Joe Biden. And if you look at what's happening to Trump in California, actually in New York, and all these different places, attorney generals across the board literally uh, have just sued the heck out of the president for all kinds of the former president for all kinds of crimes. And some are so heinous, like for instance, the judge, $350 million judgment against Trump for paying back the loans he got from the bank. And this is really going to hurt places like New York because you can't go to New York now, do business, pay your loans, and expect that if they wanted to witch hunt you down politics wise, that they're going to be able to do it. Now, I think it's going to get overturned on appeal, but that's not the point. Why would you do business in New York? All that said, the litmus test is back here in the state of Texas. Uh, if you try to impeach Ken Paxton, you got to go. Andrew Murr in this district. And by the way, it's out to Junction and all the way up to Upton County, Sonora, comes back down here to Medina, and then up to Brady, Texas, which is McCullough. Now, there's a whole lot more. I'm just using this as an example. The lines are drawn here. So West Verdell is running in that. He's literally the guy we want. He's the guy that would go out there and represent us. But they threw in a guy out of nowhere, out of Lano, Texas. I think he's never even voted in the Republican Party, and yet even in my own county, in Medina County, we have folks here supporting him. So you have to ask yourself, what in the wide world of sports, you have to be Generation X to know what that means, is going on. And the answer is there are a few factions in Texas that you now need to be on the lookout. So here's the three I think are there. First, it's these guys, and let me just show you. Let me just show you because this guy came out and he's endorsing a whole lot of people. So let's bring out this picture here real quick. This is Rick Perry. Rick Perry is stomping around for Dade Phelan. By the way, he's also stomping for uh, Andrew Murr's replacement on their end because they've thrown in this guy. His name is Hatch Smith. Never voted in a Republican primary. Hasn't attended any of the forums. In fact, I think when West shows up, they put a chicken out there in a cage because he's too chicken to show up for a forum. So then you have to ask yourself, why would you trust your commissioners, judges, or any of the influencers in your community to convince you to vote for a guy that's never even voted in a Republican Party? Now I'm the host here, so I can talk about me all I want. Unless you want to talk about you, then you can start your own podcast. But my wife just nudged me over here, said stop that. So we're going to move forward. But here's the point. When I ran for Congress, this is the meat part. Okay, if you didn't figure, this is the meat part. When I ran for Congress, I got beat up because for 22 years I was out serving and I did my best to send back my primary ballots and my votes. So I voted in every general election. But in the primaries, it's a little hard for military to vote, you see? And I think I did it one time, but it wasn't enough. And I wasn't Republican enough. You see, the same people are now bringing in the opponent for West Verdell, which is this Hatch Smith, in the district that they're running. And this guy right here, Rick Perry, if you haven't seen it yet, if you're on Facebook, YouTube, or even on TV now, they're running commercials for all these folks. So that's one faction. The other one is, I think, the Greg Abbott faction, because Abbott, I'm not a fan of Abbott. I'm going to tell you straight out. I don't think he's used the Constitution to the fullest that was allowed by and presented to us by the founding fathers. We should never have to worry about anything as it applies to the federal government encroaching on states' rights, because we just flip them the middle finger and say, I don't think so. But but somehow, anytime Joe Biden flinches, there we are. So that's my critique on Greg Abbott. That said, he's endorsed a lot of great candidates that I like. So I do want to thank him for that. But as it applies to the border, I think we've completely failed to use the Constitution. The governor is at the helm of that. And so you're always going to see me not happy. I'm from Del Rio, folks. So why would I be happy that you've run over my town? We don't have jobs. We already have a lot of illegal aliens running around. Crime is up. Car chase after car chase, all the way from Del Rio down to San Antonio. Bracketville, Texas is in complete shambles when it comes to walking on the streets because you could be run over by a car chase. Okay, all that said, the Greg Abbott faction to me is now he's drawn some lines on school choice. So he's sort of endorsed some folks that we like and then some folks that we don't like. So he's sort of looking like he's neutral. Although I have to tell you, I think he's behind the scenes on a lot of things. And then of course you have this new and up and coming group that I think is, I've said this all along. This civil war in the Republicans Party started with Donald Trump back in 2016, and we know this because you have a lot of grassroots MAGA and all the. By the way, I'm a fan of these folks, so I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying these folks have made a lot of noise that have interrupted Rick Perry, Dade Phelan type of Republicans, to include the Greg Abbott faction, because what's happening here is they don't like for you to make any noise. In fact, right here in Medina County, by the way, everything I'm saying about West Verdell and Hatch, you can apply to a lot of the districts that are out there in Texas. So you're seeing the lines drawn. You know who else is in the Rick Perry realm? By the way, the Bushies are behind all of this. Is former Senator Kaylee Bay Hutchinson. Remember her? It really didn't do anything for us. She looked great. She looked leader-like, and we kept voting her in. And turns out she really didn't do anything. Now somebody will come back to me and said, "Oh, Raul, you're so wrong." Well, during their time period, all of our industrial jobs went away. So while Austin and I-35 all the way to Dallas, maybe down here to some parts of San Antonio, we're getting a lot of tech companies now. We stopped building and making things to the point where we had to have a guy like Trump come back and literally say we're going to make steel again, because we were relying on China. And by the way, it's cheap steel, it's weak steel. So a country that doesn't build or do something or doesn't manufacture for itself is in trouble. And you're seeing that now. For a while there, you couldn't get you couldn't get electronics because, and trucks. Oh my lord, don't let me start on the Ford pickup truck. I waited for a year on a Ford pickup truck because we don't have these stupid chips that they make somewhere in Taiwan or somewhere else. All that said, it's high time we started to do those things. So three factions. It's not so much the Rick Perry, but it's the Bushies that supply a guy like Rick Perry here supporting Dade Phelan. And what do they want to do? What does this group do? It wants to keep the standard bear same protocols, standard operating procedures. Don't badmouth Republicans, and keep it red. And for 40 years, we've been doing that. We're $33 trillion in the hole. The border is a complete mess. I don't care what anybody says. If they say it's 11 million illegal aliens, it's at least double that. You cannot have 200,000 people, 300,000 people come in every month. Those are the ones we know about. And then say, well, it's about 8 million. It's a whole lot more, folks. A country that does that ceases to be a country because it's being ate up from the inside. Welfare, hospitals, everything is inundated. And now you're going to have to mandate certain programs to allow for kids that don't know or speak English. Anyway, I digress. The Bushies are still involved, and they're the ones pushing for the standard issue. Here are the Republicans you need to vote for. Okay. So using West Verdell and Hatch Smith, because I saw a video with Rick Perry pushing Hatch Smith. Linda Ruski, go ahead and send that link on the email I sent you, please. Anyway, so all that. Sorry, I got a little time out here with my technician. It's all working good, but so why am I highlighting Rick Perry here? Rick Perry, I don't know, served for 10 years and never really fortified the border, set us up for a lot of people getting rich, but really the underclass, the middle class, just sucking wind all the way through. All that said, this is what you're looking at here now. And if you're anything like me, you're starting to see all these mailers, you see. And so the lines are drawn. Now let's go to the congressional side, because we're here in Medina County, and it's understood we have a lot of viewers for all over the place throughout. It's just not here, but using the San Antonio, Austin, Western counties into Medina, just to show you. Let's go to the congressional side here. Here's the most hated Republican probably in a long time. See, I thought Will Hurd was the guy. It turns out Tony Gonzalez is now. Okay. And so the question I got posed today 3 times, actually, that's why I want to bring it up now, is can a guy like Tony Gonzalez with 1.7 million or whatever the numbers are, can he be beat? And the answer is absolutely. But you're going to have to go vote. You're going to have to go vote him out. And I started this part with, you cannot wait till November, and we're going to keep it red, because guess what? We have been infiltrated by groups that are led by Rick Perry, Dade Phelan, who believe that allowing Democrats to chair key positions are the way to go. Well, guess what? Dade Phelan is probably a Democrat and figured out how to gain the power, so he gets anything and everything he wants. You see, while conservative, Christian, constitutional policies, laws, whatever the make is, the words are, they just go out the door. You see, and they don't care. I mean, all of theirs is about making sure that they get their way. So nothing of what I'm saying isn't politics, folks, but we reserve the right to highlight it so that you get your nalgas off your chair and you go vote. So this is where have you gone to vote? Have you literally grabbed a few people and said, hey, we've got to get out and vote for folks? This is the time. You can't wait till November, because here's what I said before. I'm going to say it one more time. We're going to lose the House in Texas. We're going to lose the House in Congress if If now when I run for some other campaign for something else, we're going to go back to this video because I haven't finished what I'm saying. The reason I'm saying we're going to lose potentially the House at both the state and the federal level is because if by chance Tony Gonzalez, if by chance Hatch Smith gets into the November election, because they do have a lot more money than the grassroots. You see, the candidates for Tony Gonzalez, all of them, they've got, some of them got money, some don't. You see, on the Hatch Smith West Verdell food fight, same thing. Hatch Smith, all of a sudden, a no name. I've never wrote it in a Republican Party primary, all of a sudden has a lot of money and he's getting the backing from this guy, Rick Perry, Dade Phelan, and a whole bunch of other folks. How does that happen? If they get through all the way to November, the question I have is, are you going to vote for them? See, and I've seen a lot of hardcore Republicans. Yeah, well, we can't lose. We can't have, if Tony gets through, we're not gonna vote Democrat because, and I don't expect you to. What this is what I hear, because they've got to keep it Republican. At some point you're going to have to swallow the hard pill and realize what you have is a Democrat. You see that guy right there hugging Rick Perry? He's probably a Democrat. Okay. Now, here's another one that I saw today. Two commercials on KSAT 12 and then KMOL channel 5, or no, that's channel 4, and then of course KINS 5. Actually 3. But literally they're throwing down on a guy named Steve Allison. He's the representative right there in San Antonio. I literally berated this guy along with Andrew Murr, my representative, because these are the same people. Remember when we did the voter bill to solidify they watered it down so badly. These were the two guys, Steve Allison and Andrew Murr, with the guys who reduced the felony penalties down to misdemeanors. Slap in the hand, you could get a speeding ticket and have harsher consequences that if they caught you in voter fraud here in Texas. And you know why? Because of Steve Allison and Andrew Murr. Well, today, as I'm eating a little breakfast, I see two separate commercials on 3 different channels, literally throwing down on Steve Allison. And guess who's against him? Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott is running those ads against Steve Allison. So remember, 3 factions here. The Bushies, which is this Rick Perry, Dade Phelan, Senator Kay Bailey Hutchinson group. And then you've got the Greg Abbott, which is sort of straddling on 2 ends. And then you have this growing, it's, by the way, it's the silent majority, this MAGA, just Make America Great, America First group that has been brought on by Donald Trump from back in 2016, and they're the ones making all this noise. They're the ones that show up to Donald Trump's rallies. They're the reason he's got all this clout, because guess what? They're going to roll him into the White House one more time, and these people on both ends don't. Now, I have a theory. I think Abbott is straddling the fence because he's hoping to be the VP. And then you have to ask yourself, why is Nikki Haley still in the race? The answer is not pretty. But I'm not the only one talking about it. I think she's in because she's hoping that they send him to prison and or something really, really bad happens to him. And I'm not the only one who has said that. And so we rebuke that in the name of Jesus, because we if it's going to be Trump and it's looking like him, because Nikki Haley's the only one left, then we need to let's get him across the finish line, get him to be president, fix a lot of this stuff, and let's get on with it. That said, a lot of people like Rick Perry, Dade Phelan, they use Donald Trump. The guy I have not talked about is Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, another and I mince no words, just another useless politician. I think the reason you see the civil war inside the Republican Party is because he couldn't contain it. You see, so he's the guy that has a direct link to Donald Trump, which, by the way, to this day I endear. He's endorsed against me twice, and I still think President Trump is the best thing that ever happened to America, and it needs to go back and be the president. Now, I say that with this in mind. Dan Patrick is controlling all the endorsements that are coming down from Donald Trump down to the state representative levels. In fact, notice this: every representative that's running against the impeachment crew, that tried to impeach Ken Paxton is getting an endorsement from guess who? That's right, Donald Trump. One guy that I know of who's running right here in my district hasn't gotten it yet. You know what his name is? Wes Verdell. And let me tell you why I think that's true. Because right down here we've got State Senator Pete Flores. Pete Flores is part of this group right here with Rick Perry, Phelan, and he loves Abbott, by the way. But Peter Flores, the senator that I ran against him for Senate District 24, and I said it to everybody. This guy's bad news. He's a Democrat and he's going to run and pretend he's a Republican, but they're never going to do anything good. Donald Trump has not endorsed Wes Verdell, in my opinion, because Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick is blocking him. And why? Because Peter Flores, right down here in Senate District 24, is already in bed with Hatch Smith, who, guess what, is part of this impeachment crowd. So these are all, by the way, I could go to 10 different places across the state: Amarillo, Texarkana, Houston, Dallas, all the big cities out there. And I could pick another 20 of the same races where the lines are drawn in three different ways: the Bushies, Greg Abbott's crew, and then the MAGA group that's trying to, the America First, what I think is the Patriots trying to surge and take back the House, both at the congressional, federal level, and of course at the state level. And then all the Senate pieces, well, that's all, that's all fine and dandy, and it's going to get a little weird. That said, listen, hang on to your hat. But I'll answer the question: can a guy like Tony Gonzalez get beat? Yes, there's a lot of things that are happening. There's all kinds of mailers coming out, all kinds of mailers that are coming out and trying to tell you, you got to go do your research. I want to bring on for about 5-10 minutes my good friend Frank Lopez. I've got him sitting in the lobby here just for a second, just while we're talking, but we want to catch up on how he's doing. We're going to try and get Wes Verdell here in the next couple of days as well. I mean, it's Sunday, but this is the next week. This is the primary week number 2. You got to get your nalgas out to go vote. You can't complain about the guy that's in November when you didn't try to knock him out right here in the primary in March. So you got one more week, a weekend, and then boom, March the 5th on a Tuesday, you get to do it for one last time. A lot of you like to wait. I don't have an issue. No issues here. I totally get it. You don't trust the early voting. That's fine. But make plans to take the day off, take a long lunch, because it's going to get hectic on that day. And there's no reason you should show up late and not vote, because we want real patriots. We want real patriots. America deserves real patriots. We need real patriots, or else guess what? We're going to have a lot of Rick Perry's Dade feelings with some of the Abbott underling, while Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick blocks a lot of good patriots as well, because guess what? It's just politics. That's the way it is. So without further ado, we're going to bring him on here just to catch up with him. Everybody, let's say hello to Frank Lopez. How are you, Frank? Doing okay?
Hey, good. Can you hear me?
Yep, got you loud and clear. Got you on the double screen here.
Awesome.
Talk to us. What's going on? I saw you pretty busy, like San Antonio. You were in West Texas. Give us a rundown. What's going on, and what do you got going this coming week?
Yeah, man. So just on the road, having I retired from Border Patrol, and it seems like things just got hectier, busier. Starting out with helping you out on your congressional run, and then of course with the Republican Party, and then exposing what's happening on the border, shouting, sounding the alarm, and something you said there, zeroing in on Tony Gonzalez because he's a dangerous person for America, brother, and he has really harmed us. This weekend, I was at an event just outside the district in San Antonio, but it's still significant because a lot of folks that live within the district go to this group, and we had a couple of SREC members there that were giving us an update. And excuse me, one of the things that we touched on, bro, was just the harm that Tony Gonzalez has had, not just on the district, but on the rest of Texas and America, brother. Because these representatives, they're not just there for their district; they are there as part of the governing body, at the congressional level for all of America. And so that's what we've been doing, running around all over the place, going to polling spots, talking with people, visiting folks, making phone calls, sending out phone texts, and visiting the polling sites just on the road this week. I got a lot more stuff. Just staying on the road, man. And this is the last push, Raul, and that's all we know, man, is just pedal to the metal, full
And
speed
and,
ahead.
and so any polls out there, Frank, anything saying it's going one way or the other? I suspect if there's a poll that says Tony's doing horrible, that they're not going to put that out there. But I have to tell you, and a lot of you, if you're just on any kind of social media, there's these rolling advertisements for, oh, I did this for the veterans and I did this for all these things that Tony's been putting out. 1,000 comments, folks. I went through there. 90% of them are just horrible. Not no, but the F no, and all this other stuff that's going on. Uh, I mean, it's not a poll, Frank, but I don't see any love for this guy anymore. And
Yeah.
so are you seeing a runoff? I'm almost thinking there may be a first and second. He's going to be in third. That's how bad it is.
So I was speaking with some politically savvy people earlier, bro. And look, it's not outside the universe of possibilities. Look, people like to look at the paradigms and keep themselves in boxes. But this guy is so despised. He's so disliked. His name, I mean, people basically spit it out of their mouths almost like some nasty phlegm there. But anywhere you talk with folks about the guy, it's pretty much a lot of the same. He's not liked. He doesn't show up. He's in it for himself. Those kinds of comments. So it's not outside the universe of possibilities, bro. That this guy is just doing so bad that potentially, you could have a runoff between two non-Tony candidates. That you can't just take that off the table. But as far as surveys go, look, I haven't conducted any, but if the litmus test, if a measure of that was, talking with folks and just what they're saying and the feedback and everything at the polling sites and out in the field, out on the road and the highways and the byways, brother, at these town halls and candidate forums,
Yeah.
across the board. I was at another one, just right at Chester's there out by the airport in San Antonio a couple of days ago. And one of the ladies said, look, there were three candidates there. One of the ladies said, anybody but Tony. Anybody but Tony. And so that's what we're hearing, bro, across the board. In
Right.
these far-flung reaches of the district, all the way out to El Paso and up into the Monahans and, Crane County areas down to, what we call the triangle, South Texas, the Encinal I-35 area.
Yeah.
People are
Maverick, Del
tired of
Rio,
Tony.
back across to
Yeah.
San
The,
Antonio,
the,
down into
the, the
Los Al. Yep.
DMZ.
Yeah, yeah, we
Remember
call
the
yeah,
DMZ?
yeah, Dimmitt, Maverick, and Zavala counties. That's
Yep.
how we know it. And a lot of people don't go there, Frank, because it's a big
Yeah.
Democrat country. But there's conservatives there for sure.
Yep. Yeah, there's a few. Look, that is heavy Democrat country. But the other aspect of what I'm hearing, Raul, and it's great, man. People should be encouraged. Joe Biden has been, in a sense, uh, you know, a great, you know, uh, voice, I guess you could say,
For the wrong
to
things, yeah,
bring
for the
people.
wrong things.
Well, to bring people out of the Democrat Party, bro. I mean, in the sense, and man, they're going to grab that snippet there. But
Yeah,
Joe
yeah, you're in
Biden,
trouble now.
yeah, no, and I'm not surprised. That's what Tony Gonzalez and these leftists. That's the way they operate, bro.
Yeah, yeah, for
But
sure.
but his actions, his legislation, his voting record, his catastrophe of an administration has awakened people. Conjunction with people sounding the alarm, like you and I and others, and of course
Oh, yeah.
Trump and others. And so people are finally waking up. And I think one of the great equalizers for that has been the pain in the pocketbook, brother. They're feeling it all across the board, man. Whether it's gas, groceries, clothes for their children, taxes, property taxes, all that kind of stuff, the cost of living, inflation, Americans are feeling the pain, man. And so all we can
Well,
do is just push forward with a
yeah,
conservative message.
Frank, I think inflation is just killing a whole lot of folks in their pocketbooks. But give us a quick rundown. Where are you in this coming week? Because I know you're busy. We're
Yeah.
gonna let you go. But where are you? What can people expect? You're just gonna. Are we? Is it Bear County? You're gonna run out back to West Texas. What's the plan here now
Yeah.
that you're in this final week here? And then we got another weekend.
Yeah. I mean, look, man, I'm so fired up about this, brother, man. I mean, I've driven in the middle of the night, playing dodgeball with hogs and elk out in West Texas, man. Who
Yeah.
knows where the good Lord will have me? But look, I do have plans, of course. Del Rio, we go past the DMZ. There's aspects of I-35. There's some folks that wanted me all the way out in West Texas, bro. It's just so much. Uh, the matter of the fact, Raul, is that when I was helping you, brother, we spent time in District 23. When I ran as an independent, as the only constitutional conservative to get rid of Tony Gonzalez, because we
Yeah.
had two Democrats on the ballot in November of 2022. I met a lot of folks, brother, and people call, people text, message, all that stuff. People know I'm out here. People know I've been fighting for them. And I
Yeah.
have been fighting for our country since I was 18 years old when I joined the military, bro. And so people know I'm a fighter. People know I'm gonna speak truth to power. I'm gonna be frank. I'm just gonna tell you the truth. And one of the things, I can't let this real quick session with you
Yeah.
get by without touching on something you said about the civil war within the Republican Party. Look,
Yeah.
man, I came home, checked my mailbox, and there's some flyers here, and then some of folks got them. There's a couple flyers, but one of them I was very
Right.
interested. Hey, look, it's a hit piece on one of the challengers in the CD23 race. But see, what I tell folks, man, you've got to do your research, and if you look at this one particular flyer, brother, way down in the small printing is an address. And it's as simple as this, folks. Please, for God's sake, do your research.
Yeah.
Get that address and type it in. It comes back to 1005 Congress Avenue, Suite 400. And so they sent out under the name of the Hispanic
Alliance,
Association
Hispanic Alliance.
Alliance
Yep.
of Texas. Yeah,
Yeah.
let me double check that.
No, it is. It
But
is
but
the
I'm
Hispanic.
I'm yeah, it's a Hispanic Leadership Alliance. Their
Yeah.
address is 1005 Congress Avenue, Suite 400, bro. So if you go research that address, type it in, guess who comes out, brother?
Yeah.
Lilly and Company. Who is Lilly and Company?
Yeah. Susan Lilly.
They Susan Lilly. They are the bundlers for not just Tony, the money bundlers, not just for Tony
Yep.
Gonzalez, brother, but for Kevin McCarthy, Scalise, all the rhinos, man.
Yeah.
You go
Eric
to her
Canton
page
from
and it's
way back. All the
all
yeah, all
people.
the they're the young guns. Remember the young
So
guns of the Republican Party? That whole group
yeah,
there.
yeah, bro. So look, man, folks that have been following me, and you know this as well, man. We drill down, we do our research, and so
Yeah.
the Hispanic Leadership Alliance is in the same facility as Susan Lilly. So go look up. That's your homework, folks. Who is the Hispanic Leadership Alliance? Look at their board. Do your research on the board. And who is Susan Lilly? She is a money bundler. She's the one that gets the funding for the likes of traitorous Tony Gonzalez.
Yeah.
And so they're working out of the same office. And look, Raul, there's a person right now that's running for Congress that people are. If I were to say her name from South Texas as to who's associated with this address, people would not be happy with that, brother,
Yeah.
because you know this as
Well,
well
I'll
as I
say
do,
it. I'll
Raul.
say it. I think it's Myra Torres. Is that it? Yep.
Well,
You can nod.
yeah,
I'll take the blame
yeah,
for it.
Flores,
Yeah.
bro. Flores. You
Yeah.
said
Listen.
Torres, but
Yeah, and that's the problem with. By the way, if you didn't know it,
yeah,
folks, you could pay like $3,200 and create your own pack, and you can
yep,
name it whatever you want. So I'm not sure how much of a board there is for the Hispanic Leadership Alliance, but this is what they do, and it comes out, and oh my God, the
yeah,
Hispanic Alliance. I'm like, I don't even know that they meet
yeah,
once a month for for a board, but
yeah.
that's the game they play. That's the game they play, right?
And I'm seeing that game being played in this congressional district as well. PACs coming out of nowhere, bro. Just groups that didn't exist 2 months ago. All of a sudden, these groups are popping up and they're endorsing candidates and all this other stuff and everything. This is the game they play because, Raul, they gaslight us. They try to gaslight us. And thank God we have been awakened, red pilled, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
But they know that there are a lot of people out here that are gullible, that don't do the research. They're tired. They've been working all day, brother. They don't have the time for this.
yeah,
And so that's why they need, people like us, those Pablo Riveras, the Paul Revere's of the border out here, sounding the alarm, telling you what's happening. Unfortunately, what happens with Israel is they kill
yeah.
the messenger, brother. The
Oh
truth
yeah,
is too hard for them. And so it doesn't mean that I'll use this analogy that somebody very near and dear used with me. It's not when the people turned over Jesus to Pontius Pilate, brother. It's not that they loved Barabbas more, bro. It's
hmm
not that they had any love for Barabbas. It's that they hated the truth bringer. They hated the man with the truth, which was the Lord Jesus Christ.
Yep.
And so that's what kind of happens in the political realm. Even today, as I was doing some research and reading that old, that saying, that axiom, whatever came up that you and I hate, brother, Reagan's 11th commandment.
Oh
That
my
what
Lord.
they throw that out there because they don't want you to expose people and
Yeah.
tell the truth of who's behind them.
Yeah. By the
And
way,
so,
the Reagan's 11th commandment is "Thou shalt not tear down other Republicans," which is why when I ran uh, the first time, and Frank was helping me,
yeah,
we had supporters going, "Oh my God, you're going negative." I'm like, how is exposing that
yeah.
idiot? Uh, and I'm how is that negative? At what point do I
Yeah.
tell you the guy's a Democrat? And
That, that,
I don't
and
know.
that's a problem, Raul.
Yeah,
Not just with the country, but with the party, brother. They're soft, brother. They're soft. Look, man, our country is in trouble. America's enemies are inside our borders, brother. It's not just China and Iran and hostile nations. They're agents, they're killers, they're operatives. Their tactically trained personnel are inside our country now, man. And so now is not a time for softness, brother. Now is a time for a steely gaze in your eyes and
yeah,
just grabbing your picking up your belt, your pant by the belt, brother, and
yeah,
just stiffening your spine and understanding that America is in trouble. There are existential threats against our nation within the boundaries of our border, and we have infiltrators, traitors
yeah,
inside our party, to begin with the Republican Party, whose platform I agree with, but it's infested like cockroaches with a bunch of traitors, man. And so we
yeah.
got to shine the light of truth and the light of day on them. And,
Well,
and so, hey, look, man, you can tell I'm fired up, brother, but I'm ready
no,
to fight
listen,
for our
and and
country.
and 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 we like it. In full disclosure here for everybody, we wish everybody, as much success as they merit and or put into it. But we have endorsed Frank fully. So if you're going to go out and vote, please vote for Frank Lopez Jr., U.S. Border Patriot. You've been out everywhere. 30 seconds or less. The final goodbye. What do you got?
Yeah. Just hey, look, folks, stay tuned on my media. Frank Lopez Jr., U.S. Border Patriot on Facebook. I am on X at U.S. Border Patriot. I'm going to be running around at different polling sites on the highway, on the border, just doing what I've been doing, man. Bringing you awareness, fighting for the truth. And if folks elect me, they go to usborderpatriot.com, usborderpatriot.com. There's a link there they can donate to my campaign. But hey, look, Raul, man, we're running with pedal to the metal, regardless of whether how much money comes in. Hey, praise God for the blessings, but
Amen.
we have a mission to accomplish, brother. And so we're just going to go forward, man. The Lord provides. We work and do what we can to the best of our ability to honor God first. And so we need. I need to be in Washington, Raul, because look, man, I'm not going to take dirty pack money. I don't care about the defense contractor money, big pharma, the cybersecurity. I don't care about the money, brother, because
Right.
I don't take a single penny with me into eternity, brother. But what I do care about is fighting for the truth, for the innocent, for life, for the American way of life, brother, for our children, our grandchildren's future. That's what I care about, bro. And for me, in a sense, Raul, this is the last stand as far as this election coming up, man. This is, people say every election is important, every election is monumental, a paramount importance. I'll
Yeah.
tell you, this election, bro, because look at how hard they're trying to keep Trump out of office. And they know that there are people like you
Yeah.
and I, Matt Gaetz and other, who are speaking the truth. We're not going to shut up. We're
Yeah.
exposing them, and we're going to go fight for our fellow Americans wherever the Lord puts us. And for me, if He wants me in Washington, it's the will of the people and the will of God. But I'm going to operate, Raul, knowing that the eyes of the Lord are upon me. But I want to come back home to Texas and look at my fellow Texans in the eye, and that they'll be able to say, "Good job, Frank. You're out there kicking butt for us."
Well, and we thank you for that. Listen, yep,
Yeah,
stay safe out there. Everybody go vote for Frank Lopez Jr. He's on the ballot. And we'll see you back. We'll get you back here maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. Give us an update. Today's
sure.
Sunday. And but God bless you, brother. Stay safe, okay?
Anytime, brother. God bless, man.
Okay. All right, there you have it, Frank Lopez. I got to tell you, the guy just gets me wanting to go. And so when I ran for Congress the first time, Frank was the guy behind the scenes, just getting all kinds of stuff. And I remember having a conversation with him as I went to run for Senate District 24 against Peter Flores, who I said, "Hey, look, I don't think this is the right guy, but you lose or win fair and square. I can take that." And Frank makes a good point here. Some of us just can't quit. It's just not in our nature to just roll over and watch America get stepped over, because there is this power play that's happened in the Republican Party. It has been infiltrated. You need to step out there and vote these clowns out in March. It is not November, because what's going to happen in November, you're going to only be interested in November. Uh, yeah, I'll give you another perfect example of November. If Nikki Haley is the selected nominee for the Republican Party, are you going to go vote for her? Ask yourself that. It's the same thing here with whether Murr's pig Hatch Smith can get across and win against West Riddell. We don't think so, but you got to go vote and make that happen. Same thing here with Tony Gonzalez. If he gets across to November, are you going to go vote for him? And then there's people out there's like, oh yeah, we don't want a Democrat. You already have a Democrat as a Republican, and so at some point we're just going to have to having political enema across the board. By the way, I do want to reference that mailer that he put out there. There are I'm going to name the candidates. Full disclosure, I've said it again. We've endorsed Frank Lopez here, and but we wish all the other candidates well. You have Julie Clark out of Medina County that has been running along with Frank Lopez. You saw him here, and of course Victor Avila, who I've known for a while too. He's originally from Dallas, moved down here to run in this district, and then of course you've got Tony Gonzalez, and and Brandon Herrera, also known as the AK guy, because he's got his business where he sells AKs or builds them. All with the exception of Tony, I think all of them are. Anybody but Tony. Go, but in our case, go vote for Frank. And the reason I'm bringing up all the four, because Frank put out this mailer, and the question originally was, can Gonzalez get beat? And the answer is yes. He's worried because Brandon Herrera has a lot of money. He's got 2.7 viewers on YouTube and Twitter or somewhere else. So as soon as he put his name in the hat, the guy raised like $300,000. I've looked at it. There are, that I can tell, no PAC money, but it's a lot of individual $100, $50, or whatever. That's not to put down Frank or anybody else, as I know they raised some money. The reason I'm mentioning Brandon is because Tony has gone after Brandon viciously, so he sees him as the number one threat. The question back 6 months ago, can anybody beat Tony Gonzalez? And we were contemplating jumping in, we didn't. Of course, not selfishly, we just evaluated everything, and we've got a business to run. We've been at this for 4 years, and we decided that, hey, Frank and the rest of the crew out there can probably get it done, or else we'd have jumped in there too. So I do believe somebody can beat him. There's probably going to be a runoff, and the reason that mailer is out with this really negative hit piece on Brandon, that's not to say that you need to do your research on him like you did on Frank or Julie or anybody else. So I don't want anybody telling me I'm defending anybody here. What I'm saying is, obviously, the Gonzalez camp sees Herrera as the threat, and because they've gone viciously attacking him. Well, I don't know. The last I remember, he had something like $400,000, and he was still accumulating money from small donors. You see, and so like everybody else, Frank ran against Tony, and Tony went negative on him. I ran against Gonzalez, and man, they made up all kinds of crap lies towards me. So right now, the guy on the pedestal, I guess, is my point, is Brandon. Is he seems to have a lot of money out there, and he's thrown out a few mailers. If you've gotten them, you know what I'm talking about. Saying that, and this is all true, that Gonzalez said it is un-American and unchristian to secure the border. Of course, there's a video out there where he puts old Gonzalez as the only, and it's true, he was the only Republican to not get on board with the border bill. And in this video, he references Abbott because Abbott's out there securing the border, right? And so all the entire Republican caucus voted for this bill, and one guy held it up. His name was Tony Gonzalez. You can't get away from that. You see now. All that said, and I'm clarifying because Frank put the mailer up. We're not we're not pushing. We're pushing all the candidates. It's anybody but Tony Gonzalez. Okay, but I want to make sure that if you saw the mailer, it wasn't our purpose to go on and pound on Herrera. I'm clarifying that that is the number one target for the Gonzalez camp right now, and undeniably they're afraid of Herrera. Brandon Herrera is highlighting all the things that maybe the other candidates who don't have as much money can't do. And so when you've got $300,000 or $400,000 and you send mailer after mailer, and it says Tony says it's unchristian and un American or whatever to secure the border, and those are all true, they're going to hurt. So I compound that with the ads I see on Facebook. There's 1,200 comments on one already, folks. I'm telling you right now, I'm looking at them. Some are fake monikers, fake profiles, no doubt, but the bulk of them, if it was a poll, I tell you right now, Tony's on his way to lose. The only way they win it is if they steal it in the middle of the night, and I think the strategy is going to be to get into a runoff with someone with less money. And so that's why I think they're going after Brandon Herrera right now, because that's not to say that Brandon is the guy. I'm just telling you what they're doing. They're going after Brandon Herrera, but as soon as they get into a runoff with, say, like Julie Clark or Frank Lopez, I guess what? They're going to go vicious after that. Those people too. That's the modus operandi for Tony Gonzalez. Break. Across all of Texas, you can apply the same thing I said to any race, like the Dan Crenshaw, Jamie Ellison race out in Houston. You can do that with the Briscoe Kane. This is a state rep race with Briscoe Kane and old Bianca Gracia out there. She's the grassroots trying to take on the guy, taking on the guy that impeached Ken Paxton, Briscoe Kane. So this is what you're seeing at every level. So no, it's all politics, but the key piece here, and I heard Frank say this, we literally are at existential time. I think everybody says, oh, every election is key, but we are in this period where Trump rolled in 2015 down the escalator, and now he's trying to make his comeback. I'll restate what I said earlier, and that is, Nikki Haley's in for a reason. They are expecting him to get criminally charged for something, or that he's just not going to make it to November, and we rebuke that, because again, I'm not the first one that says that. A lot of Democrats were actually flat out saying we need to take out Trump, like physically. This is crazy. This is nuts. So right now it's looking like he's going to sweep it, and if Joe Biden looks like he's still going to be the candidate for the Democrat side, then it should be a clean. I mean, it should just there's no reason. If you look at Illinois, Democrats out there are just griping at Biden, and they're leaving the Democrat Party to go vote for Trump. So there is no viable reason why Biden should beat Trump. That said, you're responsible, and it's how we started the podcast tonight. Have you gotten your nalgas out of the couch to go vote? For my non-speaking Spanish speakers, nalgas is your butt. Get it out of the couch. You got to go vote. You've got to go vote. Again, remember, power is it's taken, not given. So if you want to put America back on the right track, go research your the folks you want, and then go after it from there. What I want to do is I'm going to highlight a few races. If you're interested, we'll just do this for a quick 3 minutes, and then I'll sort of wind it down here. Okay, for president, we definitely want Donald J. Trump. Senator Ted Cruz, go vote for that guy. Justice Supreme Court, place 4. If you're tracking some of those, John Devine, and of course, President, Judge, Court of Criminal Appeals, we want David Schenck. Remember, Schenck, Parker, and Finley are the 3 I highlighted 3 or 4 days ago to replace those Republican judges who took away the Attorney General's right to or protocol to be able to take on voter fraud. Remember, the Attorney General of Texas can no longer do that. And I'm calling on the Republican Party of Texas as a whole, the SREC GOP chair, that at the next convention, they put this back into the legislators so that the legislators can pass a law that says the attorney general can take on any criminal activity, any whatever he needs to, especially voter fraud cases. Because guess what? When you put attorneys into cities like San Antonio, Houston, that are Soros funded, you think they're going to take on electioneering or voter fraud cases? They haven't yet. They're not going to. So again, President Judge Court of Criminal Appeals David Schenck, Judge Court of Criminal Appeals place 7. That's going to be Gina Parker. Judge Court of Criminal Appeals at place 4, Lee Finley. Of course, we're just going to keep coming down here. Let me see. If you want to know some of these, I'm going to put them. I don't want to go through all these. I'm just highlighting a couple of these. David Covey, he's the guy taking on Dade Phelan in District 21. So if you're listening to me out of East Texas, that's the one you want to go to. One more. I'm doing that thing you're not supposed to do. And my military friends are absolutely hating me for that right now. But this just part of me trying to. Oh, Don McLaughlin out in District 80. That's the Uvalde area. Democrat. What's his name? Anyway, the Democrat that was there for the longest time has bailed out. I think he's had enough with the Democrat Party as well. So he's a done deal. District 53, West Riddell, that's our guy. You want to make sure you go there. This lady I'm not a fan of, but we got to vote her in. Katrina Pearson. She was responsible when we were running against Tony Gonzalez. She sort of came out against us, but she was a paid consultant back there. So what do you expect? I like Katrina, despite the fact that she saddled us with Tony Gonzalez. And so if you're out in the, I think that's Rockport area, District 33, go get Miss Katrina Pearson elected and let her know we no apologies needed. We're doing the good thing here of getting real conservative. I think she's one of those, so make it happen. Shelley Luther in State Rep District 62. Remember, Shelley Luther was running for the Senate district in her area. She's the lady who took on Abbott when they closed all the businesses down. And she said, look, how do I feed my kids? And she got arrested for it. And a big hoopla thing happened. She ended up running for senator. She lost. And now she's running again for District 62. So if you're in the Shelley Luther district, that's where you want to be checking things out. A couple more here. I think that's going to be it. Let me see if there's anything. Bianca Gracia. I almost forgot. I said that earlier. At District 128 against Briscoe Kane, and that is a impeacher guy. So go there. John Perez is another one. If you've never seen this cat talk, he's phenomenal. He's clear. He's concise. He's got vision. He's like Bianca Gracia. John Perez out of District 133. He's in Houston. So go check that guy out. And I think that's going to be it for that. All right. Oh, a couple of sheriff down here, if Christian in Medina County, we want to get that guy. And the reason I'm going to say that, and I'm in Medina County, is really used to, and no personal thing here, but whenever you endorse, I did say there's a litmus test. If the 60 Republicans that impeached Ken Paxton voted to impeach Ken Paxton, they got to go. If you have endorsed Tony Gonzalez, you got to go. So for a lot of folks in the Medina, all these other places, if your sheriff has endorsed Tony Gonzalez, you better think twice about that. And by the way, some of these folks endorsed us, so I'm not sure what's going on. You cannot side with money anymore, because all it's doing is providing a band-aid for a mess that should have been fixed in Congress a long time ago. They should have pulled the money, the power of the purse from Joe Biden and kept him from spending any more money. Shut the border down or shut the government down. That's my motto. A lot of people's motto. That's the way it should have been. But instead, they're sending money out to all these sheriffs saying, look, I got you this. Oh, you got me $10 million for the county. For what? For what? So you still have an invasion going, and your kids are going to be unsafe for a long time, because if you haven't seen it, crime is spiking because a lot of people are being killed all over the place and or hurt because of illegal aliens who are not following the law. Why should they? They didn't follow law in their countries. They didn't stand their ground in their countries to defend their country. What makes you think they're going to follow laws in your country and defend this country when we get into it with China or anybody else? Because that's what's looming out in the real world. Okay. All that said, we're coming up on 9 o'clock, and I want to wrap it up with a couple of things here. I was at church today. I hope you were too. Not a perfect Christian, but if you want to know Christ, give us a holler. You saw Frank Lopez, he's an ordained minister. A lot of people we roll with are Christian. Go know God. Go talk to anybody if you want. Give us a holler. We'll tell you who Jesus Christ is. As we're always trying to learn more. But I wanted to read this as I was listening to the sermon today. And I've heard this before. Somebody came up to me, 2, 3 years ago. I guess they could see I was wore out in the campaign, but I was still yapping. I was still talking like Frank. I was still energized. Like the guy could probably, there's this passion to save the country. And so, gentleman came up, puts his hand on me. He says, we need more Davids like you. And I'm not patting myself. I'm just telling you what happened as because today, as I'm in church, we're talking about King David when he was a young man, youth. And I want to read if I can find this real quick because I don't want to do it wrong. So this is coming out of 1 Samuel 17 verse let me see. So 1 Samuel 17. I'm in verse 23. If you just want to look at it, and I'm going to read. I've copied it over to Word because it's literally I'm reading this. I could have my Bible here, but I've got it on the screen. The Bible Gateway. Sometimes I go there for a quick reference, but I want to read this to you, and then I'll make a point, and then we'll wind it down, and we'll call it a night. But this is when David rolls up. His dad has sent him to go to the front lines and go feed your brothers. Now I'm generalizing, so everybody don't. I'm not a pastor. I'm just trying to make a correlate some things here based on some things that happened to me, and of course today's sermon where it just dawned on me, and I'm gonna sort of provide it to you. But this is what I'm gonna pick up on. The verse here. So while he was talking with them, this is Dave, right? The Philistine champion by the name of Goliath came up from the ranks, and so Goliath has come over and ranks of the Philistines, and he spoke as before. And David, see, he had already been throwing down on Israel, and he's saying things like, "Your God isn't going to do anything." And so this is Goliath, a huge guy, and so when the Israelites saw the man, they all retreated before him, terrified. So they're all scared. I mean, this is a giant. And then, of course, the Israelites had been saying, "Do you see this man coming up? He comes up to insult Israel. The king will make whoever kills him a very wealthy man. He will give his daughter to him and declare his father family exempt from taxes in Israel." Now, David now said to the men standing near him, "How will the man who kills this Philistine and frees Israel from disgrace be rewarded?" That's a question mark. Who is this uncircumcised? This is the key piece. Okay, I want to listen. This is the one that got me really good today. I hope you can take this tonight and think about it as we go into the week. Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should insult the armies of the living God? And so I'm going to correlate over because we're talking politics, and this isn't a sermon per se, but here's the future King David in the battlefront, and he's not worried about the getting the daughter and the money and all this other stuff. He's upset that somebody has insulted God. How dare they? And nobody wants to stand up. So you heard Frank earlier, and I'm gonna tell you now. Look, go vote against the people who are insulting our God. You cannot be 9 years old and think that you can be, if you were born a boy, that you are grown up enough to decide that you can be a girl, because that's what's happening. They're transgendering kids, they're mutilating, gender mutilating kids. All of these, they're abortion. All of these things are an insult to God, and you should wake up every day insulted that this government and anybody else who's professing these things is actually looking you in the eye and saying, this is normal. This is not normal, folks. So when I heard this today, as I try to apply it, so I said, listen, we ought to be, you're right. You ought to be a David. Go and vote like a David. Be insulted by anybody who threatened your freedom, your kids, and more importantly than anything, that insulted God, because that's where we are. This government is literally telling you the things that are evil are now good. And that's in the Bible too. I can't find it because I'm not really good at that, but I'm just telling you, I know it's in there because I heard my pastor saying, and I've seen people show me. You cannot go, you cannot fall for false ideologies. And St. Paul says it. Don't fall for all this googly speak. You see, don't fall for the false words. You're supposed to discern this thing. So that's what I want to leave you with tonight. Go to bed in the morning, wake up, refresh, ready to go, and wake up like they insulted God and go do something about it. Go, you don't want to run a campaign. I'm not listen, those are expensive. Don't do that. If you don't, I'm not telling you that's what you have to do. But my Lord, please go vote like you've never voted before for the right people. Christian, constitutional, conservative values that have made this country great from the beginning. They want to tell us that white people are bad. No, they're not. Neither are Hispanics, neither. We're all Americans here. And by the way, last point here. Somebody was telling me our recruiting and retention in the military is down. I said, well, of course it is. You've insulted white people with DEI. You keep telling everybody that there's white privilege and that's bad. So why do you? Of course, white America's going to stop serving. Why would they want to go to an institution that's going to insult them? So no, we love each other. This is America. So wake up every day like King David there at the battlefield and take on the Goliath, which is this government or anybody who professes to go against the things and who insults God. It is time for you to do something about that. So that's what I'm going to leave you with. I've gone Frank Lopez all over the place because the energy is really flowing. I don't want to get off, but the bottom line is no más. No pueden insultar a Dios. You cannot do it, not on my watch. I didn't win my campaign, but I'm going to sit here and profess, like Frank says, and like all these other great candidates, profess the truth. It shall set you free. It will. So that's it. Great verse here. I want to thank my pastor and all of you for listening today. God bless you. God bless you. May you just be blessed this whole week. It's Sunday. Tomorrow we're going to be back 8 o'clock. Don't miss it because it's only going to get juicier, hotter. And if we get some more, it's not hotter. It's just hotter. But if we get some more of these, we'll bring them in. And don't listen to the lies. There's reasons that people are being attacked because they are the threat. They're the threat. So go look at all the candidates. We picked one, but you have reserved the right to go look at Brandon and Julie and Victor, who came in from Dallas to run down here against Tony Gonzalez. All of them across the board. So all that said, you all have a great night. Boy, I've just turned up the juice here. God bless you, and we'll see you mañana. Go get your nalgas off and go vote. That's what you got to do. Hasta la bye-bye.